Crystal Isles is a map that I consider to be highly underrated when it comes to Ark maps. It is a beautiful map to look at. It has a lot to do for the first half of the playthrough, but also it's really just a nice map in general. So I'm gonna take on it's not really a challenge. I'm just gonna spend 100 days there, and well, my goal is to defeat the Crystal Wyvern Queen. I began day 1 by downloading my Survivor onto Crystal Isles. I opted to spawn in the southwest because that's where Crystal Wyverns usually spawn and were really safe to get. I then learned I didn't get any extra levels for beating Gamma King Titan, so eventually I was gonna have to go back. Also, I am using a variety of mods for this one. I'm using S+, Creature Predator Deluxe, Awesome Spyglass, Dino Storage, and Upgrade Station. Just in case you wanted to know. After committing multiple counts of bird slaughter, I, had food and hide. I made a tribe and gave it the name Ahead of That Crystal. I also begun to establish a small base. But then after a hunting trip, I lost my base, so naturally I made a new one instantly. I also got a refining forge down. It's honestly really nice starting off with a level 105 character. And a wada boom wada bam, I got a smithy. I then gathered a lot of crystal, because I wanted to tame a tropical crystal wyvern. And on day 2, I made a canoe. I then canoed to an island where crystal wyverns can spawn, and off the bat, I found a 168. I then hopped on the wyvern's back and gave him multiple hits of that crystal before he tamed. I named her Crystalline, and now I realized I just have a level 250 wyvern on day 2 off the bat. I made a trip to my local obelisk to get something very important from the Ark data. Some armor, the shotgun, and the Megalo. The Megalo shall stay with me until he dies. He shall be on every map that I go through. Day 3 and 1 mass genocide later, I found a really nice basing area. I made the decision final by setting up the Megalo there. Then I began on a base outline. I also tamed a Parasaur. I named him Apotheus, starting my general naming scheme for this playthrough. Then I found this guy lurking in the White Shoals. But the reason I was going to the White Shoals was to find a male tropical crystal wyvern, which I found a 174, gave him multiple hits of that crystal so that I could actually get a breeding pair going. Then I went to the Desert Wyvern Hive to steal a wyvern egg. I brought in a Diggerist back to my base because I needed a lot of stone for my base. He tamed and I named him Coperius. I also committed a mass murder on this family gathering of dire wolves. While looking for more eggs at the hive, I accidentally found an artifact. No joke, that is how easy the artifacts are to get on this map. I brought an Anki back to my base to also tame it. I also got some more base work done. The Anki tamed and I named him Metallian. I also managed to get the base outline done, which is a nice hexagon design. Day 6, I tamed a Beelzebufo, which is just a big frog. I also grabbed a 168 Baryonyx. On day 7, I tamed a mammoth. I also got my crossbow absolutely stacked in the upgrade station. I also realized mammoths are not good wood harvesters, but they are good berry harvesters, and thatch. Day 8, I made some really good progress on the base. I also went into a nearby cave to look for an artifact. But the artifact hadn't spawned yet. I also tamed a beaver. The beaver finally tamed on day 9. I also found a 162 male Rex and opted to tame it. I named him Champion. Also, even more base progress. Day 11, I went to Eldritch Isle. I spent most of the day looking for Rexes. Oh yeah, I gave myself a chibi Rex because I was fighting a lot of alphas, and also, well, it's a chibi. I should have one. On the beginning of day 12, I found this really good blood crystal wyvern egg. So I began hatching the tropical wyvern egg and the blood wyvern egg. While the wyverns were raising, I got some base work done. Day 13, I did a lot of work on the base. I installed greenhouses, more pillars, and more stone walls. And by around the end of day 13, the wyverns finally finished growing. I spent the beginning of day 14 leveling up the blood wyvern. Day 15 and the base is coming along very nicely. I also took a Rex saddle and began upgrading it. Then I turned it into a pretty expensive but really good apprentice blueprint, which I would use for the Crystal Wyvern Queen. Day 17 and I got even more base progress. You may be asking, where's day 16? It was actually that uninteresting. It was not an interesting day at all. I couldn't find anything to comment on. But like later in day 17, and look at all that base progress I got. Day 18 and I really need to stretch out the video length, so I went on a crystal run. I also gathered some silica pearls to craft electronics for our chemistry bench. I also named my wyverns Cadmium for the tropical and Siphoneus for the blood. Also, I tried to knock out a 162 female Rex, thinking, yes, I can finally get the breeding pair going. And then, the Rex died! But then, I took my Anki on a metal run. That's right, this stuff is interesting now that the video is only like 5 minutes or something. No, it's like 7. Okay, but like, look, cool, I got metal, I got metal! What could I be getting that metal for? Somebody watching wondered. I'm getting it for an industrial forge. And the chemistry bench and everything else that I need. Then I found like this really good spot for metal running. And look, a basilisk can't even get me while I'm here. He's stuck in the ground. I grinded a lot of cemented cakes to my frog in the desert savannah. For whatever reason, I spent a lot of my metal upgrading a set of flak armor to be really decked out. But then I realized I needed polymer. Like, a lot of it. So I went to the nearby lake on Apotheosis where Carcano spawns to grind them for their organic polymer. I only have footage of like the first third of day 20. The rest of it, I don't know, it got like shadow banned or something. But for the most part, I was just looking at eggs in the Desert Wyvern Hive. And also, the artifact I was looking for before spawned there. So now, I have another artifact. Day 21, and I'm in full flat. And I checked the desert for a Kark. Then I found these washed up Tusos that honestly, if I like hid my UI and took off the awesome spyglass, they would honestly make a pretty good album cover. Just like 2 washed up giant squids. I don't know. It works as an album cover. And then I just kind of went on like a spiritual journey through the ocean. I don't know. I was doing things in the ocean. Then I found a high-level Basilosaurus, which I wanted to tame. But yeah, I started the taming. It took a while before I could actually get him in a good spot, but yeah, I started the taming. But after I got to the second feed, things started speeding up because the difference in time between the first feed and the second feed is actually crazy, man. It's like 5 minutes before they started to eat again, and then it's like 15-second intervals. But eventually, I got him tamed, and I know Basil is really tanky, but like, look at that health. And at the end of the day, I crafted some narcotics. But day 23 and this 174 Rex I found in the Arctic was just there. So I was gonna tame it, but then shenanigans and that died. It seemed I was like cursed to have every good female Rex I find instantly just perish to some unbeknownst thing happening. To take my mind off the fact that I just lost a really good Rex, I tamed an El Horrible hog. And like, damn, this guy eats, man. He eats a lot. Alright, I thought I was gonna bring him with a boss fight, but no. But I'm still gonna keep it. Hey look, high level female Rex. I wonder what's gonna happen. Obviously I knocked it out and then tamed it. What do you think was gonna happen? So I then instantly bred the 2 Rexes after I got back to base. I hatched the Rex, which that's pretty cool. First implanted Rex. Yeah, I named the Rex Gladius, and throughout most of day 25, I was raising it. Also, I've done the calculations. I'm gonna need around like 4,200 metal, 36,000 hide, and 18,000 fiber to get all those Rex cells. So while he was raising, I also gathered up the needed fiber. I'm also getting pretty close to the industrial forge. And wada boom, wada bam, I've got the needed fiber. I also got the industrial forge down on this day, which that is actually very beneficial. And I just kind of hunted for a good beauty. It'd be really nice to have a beauty for the fight. Day 27, I crafted a mining drill, which is really good. Mining drills are really good. For those of you wondering where day 28 is, I don't know either. But like, you ever think, is anything we do in life really matter? Like, at the end of it, do we get judged for how good or how bad we were sent to an afterlife? Or do you think it's just nothing? Let me know in the comments. So yeah, day 29, I came to Kark. Yeah, I also raised on the Rex. Day 30, I went on a metal. And I came out with a pretty good deal. And then I watched. Great. I really just love the hailing tools that come out of Industrial. You know, there's lead in that gasoline. I actually add the truck. And like, damn, it makes it so much better to stand by. Like, I actually spent half the day watching the metals melt. I think I was, like, playing Clash Royale, but, like, yeah, after it was done smelting and I was done inhaling the fumes, I put it to the down part of my base so I could actually use it for that. And now, just look at my armor, man. Look at that. That is some great flak. And then I, like, maxed out my Gilly mask. So now I have actual, like, kind of okay heat solution. And then day 32, I was feeling especially motivated because I was killing the 168 giga inhibitor. And then in the volcanic area, I found a cart. And day 33, something's cooking on my new industrial grill. You know what else? Call me Walter White, because I got the chemistry. You smell what's burning? The breath of my new Ark Crystal Wyvern. And then, you know what's incubating? The brand new egg incubator that I just got! But then, the Ember Wyvern said he was into CIA journalism. So then, he died of the complete natural cause of a fucking hatchet to the head. And then I also murdered the Kark because he overheard that conversation and he knew too much. Then I went on a metal run. Day 35, I crafted a chainsaw. In fact, I got multiple artifacts as I was going on an artifact run. And there you have it. I got every artifact in the game. And also, I'm going on a crusade against the Wyverns on my Kark. As you may have just noticed, I died, so I went to go get my stuff back. And so, as I explained previously, I was on a crusade against the Wyverns. 35 Crystal Talons is how many I needed for Gamma, Beta, and Alpha Crystal Wyvern Queen. So, that was my goal. And there I had it. I had gotten enough Crystal Talons. Okay, day 42. Now, there is something I need to explain. From day 42 onwards, the day cycle is sped up by 2.5 because, well, I really lack motivation. Like, day 41, that was in August. Day 42, that was in October. That is how lacking in motivation I was. So, the day cycle is sped up, which helped motivate me a lot, because I completed it within 3 days. And then, I begun my search for a high-level Yudi again. Now, I was making a fatal mistake. I was searching in a place called Northland for Yudis. Yudis don't spawn in Northland. Okay, so, a little tip. They only spawn on Northern Islands, part of Tundra Falls, and then I think they can sometimes spawn in lower Halcon Plains, which that is vital to know, because you don't want to end up like me and spend a while searching the wrong area. I also hatched the Rex eggs I've been collecting, and I gave all of them names. Natilius, Phobos and Deimos, Satinus, Drupadium, Mercius, Malleus, Apollum, Aretmius, and Sednium. If you couldn't tell, they're based off of a lot of Greek and Roman gods, the names. Also, this time I used an S+ feeding trough, unlike last time on Extinction, when I used the normal one. I spent the rest of day 45 just waiting for the Rexes to imprint. Day 46 was mostly the same story. Day 47 was also spent raising up Rexes. They take a while to raise, especially now with the new day cycle. They take like 3 days total. Day 48 was also entirely spent just raising up the Rexes. I also hatched more Rexes on day 49. It was also spent raising up the other Rexes. Day 50, I went on a hide run with my cart for the Rexes. I also got this idea to use a cart to kill the 2 Titanosaurs. So, I would say it was a pretty good hide run. I then had to go on a metal run because I was out of metal. I hatched 2 more Rexes. And then I had to make sure the sun rose. So I slaughtered the weakest one. On day 54, I crafted a lot of Rex saddles. I spent the rest of the day just raising up the remaining Rexes. And simultaneously crafting the rest of the Rex saddles. So, day 55 was also spent raising up the Rexes. Most of this Rex raising will stop once I actually have all of them raised up. Day 56, I was finishing up on raising up the Rexes. Day 57, I finished up raising the Rexes. Also, now 10 out of the 18 Rexes are saddled. Day 58, and all the Rexes are raised. I continued to search for a Herald Beauty. And then I made a beautiful sight, a 174 Beauty. That is what I have been looking for. I knocked him out and he tamed on day 60. I named him Couragium because there's a courage roar, and that's what I'm using him for. Anyways, also, even more Rex saddles. I spent day 61 raising the last Rex. I promise this one's the last one. He finished raising at the very end of day 62. Day 63 was another hide run, because I am getting really close to finishing the Rex saddles. On day 64, I finished up getting all the hide. Day 65, I went on a metal run. So now, I just have to wait for metal to smelt. Day 66, I watched the metal smelt. Day 67, I brought the metal down. And, well, I now had all of the Rex saddles. I also made a Udu saddle and upgraded it to Ramshackle. On a very special day, I brought all my Rexes to the Desert Wyvern Hive to try to level them. It was a mess, and they weren't even putting that much XP. So I left my Wyvern, and apparently had Chronic Dementia, because I thought the 168 Giga was still alive. I mean, admittedly, it was like 3 months ago when I killed it. But like, then I realized I only had 30 days to get a lot of Alpha Crystal Talons, which I needed for Alpha, which I wanted to do. Day 71, I made up some net projectiles. And on day 72, I made it to the White Shoals, where I went to go hunt Tropical Crystal Wyverns, but not to kill them, for the Primal Crystals. Now, after that hunt, on day 73, I began lining up the Rexes at the obelisk. I wonder what that's for. Disclaimer, the strategy that I'm using right now, don't use it. First of all, my Rexes were underleveled. Second of all, the Crystal Wyvern Queen was facing towards the Rexes, meaning she could not come back because it was also facing into the open plain. Third of all, my Rexes were all spread out when the Wyvern Queen was flying, meaning I couldn't damage her at all, meaning she would never land. So I failed. I had to leave and rejoin to get out of there. And turns out I was spreading a Rex. I left it behind at the Crystal Wyvern Hive, so I went back to get it. Later, on day 75, I found a 162 Blood Crystal Wyvern, which was a female, and mine was a male. So I tamed it with primal crystals. After taming the Wyvern and naming it Vampirius, I bred them. I then hatched the egg. I spent day 77 raising the Wyvern. Day 78, I brought out all the Rexes while the Wyvern was still raising. Day 79, I stood still, waiting for the imprint timer. Day 80 was spent finishing up the imprint on the Wyvern. The Wyvern finally finished growing on day 81. I spent the rest of the day just leveling up the Wyvern. In this process, I was also semi-hunting for Alpha Blood Crystal Wyverns. And then I saw a dinosaur, and I got a few very particular ideas about how to level my Wyvern. So now that I had sufficiently leveled my Wyvern, I was ready to actually fully hunt for Alpha Blood Crystal Wyverns. Now, later this day, I crowded up all the Rexes. Day 85, and look what finally turned up. So I hopped in my cart, went on a short killing spree, and then I went to face the Wyvern. Day 86, and I looked at my tribe logs and realized I actually had no major team deaths this playthrough, like, at all. I would say that's a pretty good accomplishment. Was that the day numbered 87? Yeah, it was that short. So day 87 and 88 were just spent, like, making a giant U around the map from like, Bloodfall's Hollow to parts of the White Shoals to the Desert Wyvern Hive to Emberfall. It was really just a lot of searching for an Alpha Wyvern. Hey, look at that, day 89, and I'm still on that search. Just kidding, I'm no longer searching. I'm going on a crusade against the Wyverns again, in hopes of getting an Alpha to spawn. Day 90, I now had enough Alpha Crystal Talons because I killed one on day 40. Later that day, I then realized it deleted all my artifacts and the Alpha Talon I had in there and all the Crystal Talons. So, I gave myself them because I already had them, it just deleted them. I also decided that I was going to do beta. I didn't have enough time to actually be able to do alpha. I also brought out my Rexes one last time to make sure they were properly leveled up. Day 92, I grinded up a bunch of primal crystals. Day 93, I put the Megalo away. He will follow me to the next map. I found a 168 Rex and just could not resist the temptation to knock him out. I also knocked out a 162 Microraptor, which I decided I should probably have a shoulder pad for a while. Day 94, I just kind of went on an expedition on foot in the plains. I tamed this level 24 raptor. At the end of day 94, I passed the time by killing stuff on my cart. Day 95, I made sure all my caves were out at the base. I then just kind of admired the ponds next to my base. But now, at day 96, I decided I would line up all the Rexes at the obelisk. I then decided I was starting the battle on day 97. Day 98, I put the Crystal Wyvern Queen flag down, and I put the trophy up. I then slaughtered the Daedon out of spite. I hate that thing. And there you have it. Technically 99 days, but, well, I beat Crystal Isles. Next up, Aberration.